everybody. Welcome to Awesome Sunday Show. My name's Connor.
And I'm Pat.
We had a very special episode for you again today, folks. We'll talk about Comic-Con again. Last week, we went on a tangent about Batman vs. Superman. I mean, tangent's kind of putting it lightly. We went all over the place because it wasn't just Batman vs. Superman.
We kind of went into the entirety of the DC cinematic universe, but it started with Batman vs. Superman. I mean, at least we did talk a lot about that.
Yeah, but like two drunk guys at an Irish bar, everything was talked about.
Yeah, and we planned on splitting that episode into Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, but we talked so long for Batman vs. Superman, we decided to do a different episode with Suicide Squad.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad trailer. We're going to talk about the X-Men trailer, and then, the leaked X-Men trailer. And then, Pat, what's the last thing we're talking about?
We'll talk about the leaked Deadpool trailer.
How awesome was that trailer?
It was amazing.
Good. So we're saving the best for last, but not saying these trailers aren't bad. It's just, I guess it's kind of level what we're excited for, right?
Yeah, basically.
All right. So, Pat, why don't you go off, explain this beginning of the Suicide Squad trailer for us?
All right. Well, first, I'll give my feelings about the Suicide Squad trailer, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Let's express our feelings.
Okay. I was very underwhelmed by it.
Same.
A lot of the shots were generic, in my opinion. Some of them were pretty cool. It went through the cast of characters, like the Suicide Squad, like each member, and then Amanda Waller, who is going to be played by Viola Davis, who I really like.
Yeah,
and
great casting choice.
Yeah. And it's not that the cast is bad. Like, no, by no means the rest of the cast isn't bad. I mean, like, that's a great cast. Will Smith is a great actor, but he's playing Will Smith. He's Will Smith as Will Smith.
Yeah, not saying Will Smith doesn't have range. He is a really good actor. But like there is a lot of movies where he is Will Smith too.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Robert Downey Jr. is the same thing, but
but at least Robert Downey Jr. is really Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's how it. Yeah, that's why that works.
But yeah, Will Smith is playing as Will Smith again. And, of course, he goes, what are we, some sort of Suicide Squad?
Oh, God, it was
Has
so corny.
to name drop the movie in the corniest way possible all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that I want to like that line because it's such like a 90s, like 80s, like cheese.
Yeah.
It
just, the movie's supposed to be badass. The character's supposed to be badass. That's not a badass thing for him to say.
It only works like very little, like for example, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, when like John Connor's like, you can't just do that, he's like, why? I'm a Terminator. like something like that, that works because it's funny, but like it's just like in this situation it's just super corny.
It would have been a lot less corny if Viola Davis called them the Suicide Squad while she was telling those generals about it.
Right, because she's responsible for the inception of the characters.
Exactly. So basically, in the trailer, we see Amanda Waller talking with some government officials. I don't know if they are or are not from Argus, but she basically explains like these villains are going to be threatened by their life to do some good for Argus, or quote unquote good, depending on how she goes.
Wait, Argus or Cadmus?
Well, Argus and Cadmus, Cadmus becomes like a offshoot of Argus.
Okay.
And so, Cadmus is kind of, sometimes it's another branch of Argus. Sometimes it's like Argus working with like Lex Luthor, with like other major villains. It really depends.
But they say they confirmed it is Argus. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I just want to make sure. This is mainly just for me.
They never said Cadmus.
Okay.
And so, I mean, at least in the Suicide Squad usually is controlled by Argus in most things I've seen. So I'm gonna go with that. Cadmus is more like super secret, like crazy projects.
Yeah, that's like if they're trying. You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that far before I asked. I mean, because
Yeah.
Cadmus is more for like, I mean, especially in like the Justice League animated show, and even in the comics too. Cadmus is responsible for being like, making
more like
programs anti-Justice League, just in case the
Yeah.
Justice League gets too
for
far.
like extreme provisions and experiments and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm taking it as Argus, and like another
I
reason
think you're probably definitely right.
another
about
reason
that.
I think so is because, I mean, like I know they're separate universes, but in Arrow, Argus was in control of the Suicide Squad in the Arrowverse, and so I mean they're not gonna switch it up just because it's in a movie in a different universe.
Right.
So yeah, it's basically like that. So in the trailer we see the whole team. Three things that really stuck out to me about the team is, one, Killer Croc looks awesome.
Yeah, I 100% agree. He does look really good.
Yeah, he looks awesome. But on the reverse, Harley Quinn and Joker still got those shitty ass tattoos.
See,
The Joker's bother me more than Harley Quinn's. Actually, they both bother me a lot. It's just like seeing the Joker with damage on his forehead just pisses me off.
Harley Quinn doesn't. More thing about it, it actually doesn't bother me because she has always been trying to be on the level of the Joker.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
like,
in the context,
I can see her trying hard to do something like that. So like the crappy tattoos come in, but the Joker is the Joker. And by seeing the trailer, Jared Leto looks like he's going to do a fantastic job.
I have no doubt about that.
So I'm like, why? Like it's like, and it's not tattoos in general that bother me. Like I think if you gave me, hey, I want the Joker to have tattoos, I'm like, you know what? That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the tattoos that he has that are
Are
stupid.
fucking lame.
Yeah, lame as hell.
And you know what? Jared Leto's going to do an amazing performance. I have no doubt about that. But those, just having ha 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 tattooed on him, and then like his trademark smile tattooed on him, and then a jester tattoo.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's very redundant, and like damaged on his forehead.
Like that's the worst one of them.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like first off, the Joker knows he's crazy, and then he likes that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't see himself as damaged.
If you look at him, you don't need a tattoo saying he's damaged to understand that this guy's messed up in the head.
Yeah, I know. This is like, and like this is the point. Like if I were in charge of that movie, I would say, hey, we're gonna make the Joker have tattoos. I'm like, all right, that's actually a really good idea. What kind of tattoos you're giving him? They gave me this crap. I'd say no. I'm like, this is a much better idea. At least this is just my idea. My idea, if you want to get the Joker tattoos, is give him tattoos that would really affect people around him. Like, for example, like Jason Todd was the one who got hit with the crowbar and died, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the Red Hood. That's right. I just want to make sure. Why don't you get like Jason Todd, like dead, tattooed on your chest? That way, like, Batman ripped off your shirt, or like get like a tattoo of a crowbar, like waving, or like. Well, who else did the Joker kill? Like,
or a tattoo of him shooting Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, or like a tattoo of a wheelchair saying, and then having ha 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 under it. Like, gotcha. Like, do something like really like get at Batman.
Or
like,
do those like Calvin and Hobbes stickers that go on the back of people's cars? Usually like Calvin pissing onto some logo. Have that. Except him pissing on Jason Todd's grave.
Yeah, or something like that, or even just
or
like
his
the
parents'
logo.
grave.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like the idea is great. The execution was horrible.
Yeah, I really don't like it. And like I know Harley Quinn goes crazy and stuff and tries to be like the Joker, but hers are pretty lame too.
Yeah, but
it makes more sense because she's gone literally insane. Like she basically has Stockholm syndrome. And the Joker's a psychopath, but he's not like a lame
like Harley Quinn is trying to be like the Joker, so like her ideas would be kind of lame, and that's actually what makes her character great, in my opinion. Like the fact, like in the original Batman, the Batman animated series, which is one of the best cartoons of all time, and if you don't think that, I don't know why we're friends, but but it's just. There's it's a kids show, so it's not fully explained, but there's themes of abuse, there's themes of sexual abuse, and she also she paints her face, she tries to be white like the Joker, she tries to act like the Joker, so it makes, and she usually comes off as lame doing it or just sad. So that's why Harley Quinn in the movie with Margot Robbie, that's why her tattoos actually make sense. I think they work with her. And I understand why you think that they're stupid, and like you're not wrong. If someone say I don't like, if someone to say no, I still think they're stupid. Like that's fine. Like I'm just trying to. I think I'm just trying to make myself.
It makes more sense for her to have them, and it does.
I'm trying
to
make myself like it.
Like I know, it's an annoyance, but Jared Leto's performance will be hopefully. I mean, I'm sure it will, but will be good enough to distract me from the tattoos.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna ruin my experience of the movie. It's just something that I think is stupid. Fun fact about Harley Quinn. She was created for the animated series and then became canon into the comics.
Oh yeah, yeah, I knew that. Not a lot of people know that.
Fun fact for the listeners.
Yeah, that's true. Because people
that just shows you how good that show was.
Yeah,
that it creates a character that gets added into the comics, and a lot of people consider it canon anyway.
Well, yeah, and it should be because it's awesome. But like, I'm gonna tell you, there's gonna be two types of people. There's gonna be people who don't really read comics but like our show or like comic book movies, and are gonna be like, "Oh, I never knew that." And there's gonna be people who listen to comics like, "Of course I knew that, you fucking idiot."
Yeah,
like,
probably.
They'll be like, "Oh, these guys suck." Internet rage.
Yeah, if people are listening.
Yeah. Well, Pat, come on, we have like millions of listeners.
That's true. We're making a shit ton of money off this.
In my parents' basement.
Absolutely. All right. So let's see. Will Smith's costume, though, his Deadshot costume, is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like that costume a lot too.
It's just his. Did you notice the civilian clothes that he wears? That fucking hat.
Yeah,
that's stupid. But his actual Deadshot costume is pretty cool.
Yeah, this trailer is kind of like a love-hate thing.
Yeah,
more love than hate.
It's not that I hated it. I was just very underwhelmed.
Right. But especially it's right after the Batman vs Superman trailer. It's like
but I think either way I still would have.
I don't think so.
That's personally.
I wouldn't have been wowed, but I wouldn't have felt underwhelmed.
I don't. Well, that's just how I feel. Like I don't think the Batman vs Superman trailer, which was absolutely wonderful, had any effect of how I would have felt watching this trailer anyway.
Good point. Maybe I guess I'm just really speaking for myself at that point, but
it's just a matter of opinion.
Taste. Yeah.
Oh, one thing going back to Harley Quinn, you mentioned like a history of abuse and stuff. She goes from the well-respected psychiatrist Harleen Quinzel, which we actually see her in that role in like small bits of the trailer. Joker abuses her to the point that she gets insane.
Right.
Which I don't know how many people know that, but that's how it goes from that. Like he abuses her, then she falls in love with him, and then he abuses her into insanity. She falls in love with him and follows him. And then in the trailer, we see like it's a real quick glimpse of what looks like the trailer, like torturing her like through electrocution to the brain, like putting her insane. Nice rhyme. Didn't mean to do that. But
I see what you did there.
At the end of the trailer when he goes, "I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad." Mm-hmm. I think that he's saying that to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially because of like you see the quick glimpse earlier in the trailer of him like holding those shock treatment rods or whatever to her for what looks like her head.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you think that's Harley Quinn before Suicide Squad, like a flashback, like making her go insane, or do you think because in the movie, and this kind of goes with the theories, like the Suicide Squad's looking for the Joker? Do you think it's the Joker caught her and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to kill you because we have a past, but this is going to hurt really bad," or because I don't think it's a flashback. I think it's Harley Quinn, but I think and I think we both think this to a certain degree. I think the Suicide Squad is going to go after the Joker, at least in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not too positive about that because I mean, like, I know for a fact they'll have to do like a few flashbacks, to explain the origins of the characters.
The only movie that only superhero movie that I can think of off the top of my head that didn't do flashbacks and was really successful was The Dark Knight. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that had the the benefit of having a movie before it.
Right.
But I think I'm going to go with that it is a flashback, and I'm going to say this because I think if you see a clip in the trailer, like he's searching in what looks like I saw this theory pointed out on Reddit. It's not my own, this small part. He's searching out Harley Quinn or someone respected to torture. And I think he does it to draw out Batman or to piss him off.
Right.
So if it is a flashback, I think it could be just to gain, just put another like knife in Batman's side to piss him off more, which could then lead. I mean, obviously Batman's gonna be in the movie. You see him in the trailer, so I think it's a flashback. And as far as the Suicide Squad hunting the Joker, I don't. It's kind of. I'm not sure because I feel like he's not going to be the sole focus of the mission because I don't think they would go through, taking the risk of adding. How many members is it? Like
The Suicide Squad?
Yeah. What is it, like 6 or 8 or something like that?
I think it's more than that. I think it's like 9.
9. Okay. Well, adding all those.
I honestly forget, but
Yeah. Adding all those villains for a team just to catch the Joker. I mean, Joker is incredibly unpredictable and incredibly dangerous. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think he'll be their main focus.
I agree. I think that might just be a part of the movie.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be. I think he's kind of going to be like an additional, trouble they have to deal with. Because in certain parts of the trailer, you see like a lot of destruction. You see them kind of going to war with different, or like in this, the midst of like a huge battle with something, or somebody, or some people, or whatever. And I mean, I think you do see some Joker thugs in the movie, like if you saw the panda holding the machine gun.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, that could have been.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be the main focus. I think he's going to have a huge role in it. I mean, they wouldn't put him in it for just to have him in there for like 10, 15 minutes. But I think through like the more attention and trouble he'll cause, that'll bring Batman. And then the Suicide Squad will have to get more involved with him,
right?
Out of necessity.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, do you think? Now, this is what I was originally thinking too. That the scenes that were leaked filming where Batman's on top of the car,
yeah, chasing.
I thought maybe those would be flashbacks to the days where Harley Quinn and Joker were first going out.
See,
but the thing is, did Jared Leto have those tattoos in those shots?
You couldn't really tell too well because, the majority of seeing Batman on there, and the car together was Batman was from behind with Batman on top. You do get a look into the car and see Joker and Harley Quinn. Really only in what he was wearing, the damage tattoo was visible.
I hate that tattoo.
Yeah, it's the worst. And then you can see Harley Quinn. I mean, unless she's really, really consistent with her makeup, then, it's debatable of when that happens because she looks exactly like she does once she gets released into the trail, into the squad. I mean, she could be really consistent. I mean, but depending on how they're adapting it, the Joker's face the whiteness of his skin could either be permanent or he can be adding it himself.
I think that's going to be permanent.
Yeah.
Because there's tattoos on top of it, and the tattoos are visible.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I really like, that's another reason why I hate this Joker. Because first off, Jared Leto, not only does Jared Leto look like he's going to do a great performance, but it's not, it's kind of close to the comics in a way where his skin is going to be white, his hair is going to be naturally green to a point. He's going to look, screwed up.
Yeah, so more than likely not is permanent. But I don't think Harley Quinn ever made hers permanent. Like, she always applied paint or makeup or something.
Her skin?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, she always applied paint or makeup or whatever.
So it kind of makes it a little hard to tell when that occurs. I think. I don't know if it's going to be a flashback or not. But we don't really know how large of a role Batman's going to play in it anyway.
See, yeah, I think Batman's going to be very little role. And
it would make sense for him to be only in
the
there
more I
small
think
amount.
about it, I really think, and maybe I'm wrong. I think I could be 100% wrong, but I think the Joker's going to be the main villain. Because you want to know why? In that trailer, do you remember the song they're playing in the trailer?
Yeah.
It's like "The Joke's on You." Like, I could faintly hear it, but it's like they were leading, and they led up to the end of the trailer being the Joker, and they haven't announced any other villains besides that movie, besides a cast full of villains.
Yeah.
But like, I really think the Joker is gonna be the main focus.
It could be.
I think.
Well, you know what? I don't think it'll start out that way.
So you think it won't start off with the Joker, but it's gonna end off with the Joker?
Yes.
See, and that makes sense because I think they're gonna have to get together for some reason, and there's gonna be a dynamic between Harley Quinn and the Joker. Because let's face it, they're the two most important characters in this movie.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Yeah. Okay.
Not Batman's not as important in this movie as they are.
because he's, yeah. I don't think it'll start off with Joker being their main focus. Like I think, Argus will use them more for like political matters and like civil unrest in like different countries, or even in America or whatever. So like they'll kind of be like, just say like the invasion force, like special marines or Navy SEALs or whatever, or something like that at first, and then as Joker gains power, I think he'll become the main villain.
Yeah.
And then if that Lamborghini scene will either be a flashback or it'll be current day with a possibility of Harley Quinn escaping the team. But the reason I think it's probably more of a flashback because at least in certain incarnations, like in Arrow, each member of the Suicide Squad gets a remote activated explosive device like attached to their brain or like their spinal cord. So at any point, if they don't do what Amanda Waller suggests, or like they try to leave, she can kill them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So unless that takes place before she becomes a Suicide Squad member, or somehow they're able to prevent that from exploding, or she's going like undercover again with Joker, using their history to get with him or something.
There's just so much like
and you know what? It's only the first trailer.
Yeah, and like
it doesn't. It wasn't
even supposed to be out like for the public.
Right. It was only DC released it reluctantly because of how many people took videos of it and put it online. They're like, well, shit. All right, all these people are putting it online. We might as well put out the HD version.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's the thing too about Comic-Con. Like, I'm glad that these trailers, I get to see them. But at the same time, like, I kind of feel bad for the people that go there because it's like they kind of deserve it more than anybody. They're going to see this like exclusive stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
But at the same time, for those who can't afford to make it out there, it's nice.
Yeah.
To do that.
No, I know, and like I think personally, I think holding trailers back like that is annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
But there was a kind of a cool factor to Comic-Con. People like, oh, hey, I saw this before everybody.
Yeah, but think about how annoyed you'd be like if, say, I went to Comic-Con and I was like, oh, I saw the Deadpool trailer, I saw Suicide Squad trailer, X-Men, Batman vs Superman. And was like, just like, oh yeah, I saw him, and they're like, oh, where can I see him? I'd be like, no, they're not released. It's Comic-Con exclusive.
See, I would like that I had that over some people for at least a few months. And then I'm not like, you know what it is? It's like I don't really have a lot to like claim for in this life. So like I gotta have a one up on somebody.
Yeah, so just imagine, like, I keep shoving that down your throat and be like, yeah, I saw this show, like, motherfucker.
Yeah, like, hey, it's like the movie that movie we can both go opening day and be like, hey, now we finally saw the movie together. But yeah, guess what? I saw the trailer a year before you did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you didn't see the Batman vs Superman trailer and I did, and I was like, oh, dude, it was one of the best
I would tell you how awesome
seen.
it was every day.
I'd be like, dude, you have no idea. And then I'd be like, oh, dude, how sick was the Batman vs Superman trailer? Oh, my bad.
See, that's why, like, and that's cool.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, and you know what? That's cool for the people who go and enjoy that. And it's like I kind of get why studios kind of get pissed when there's like leaks.
Yeah.
Do I think there's studios that say, "Oh, oops, it leaked" for marketing reasons? Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
But it also goes it goes both ways.
Yeah, that was definitely not it. That was more of a forced release of that.
Yeah, I think Warner Brothers was like, all right, well, like they didn't do it on purpose. I was like, oh, well, now we have to release it.
But the X-Men Apocalypse trailer and Deadpool trailer both leaked, yet Fox did not release them.
Yeah. And so I guess we might as well segue to.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on now. That's the end of our Suicide Squad talk. Who knows? We'll probably bring it up again. I mean, it doesn't come out till a year in a couple of weeks or something like that.
You know what it is? It's like there will be more fan theory. There'll be like a sweet fan theory that we'll read and be like, all right, we got to talk about this.
And there will definitely be more trailers and a whole bunch of other like news about it. So we'll talk about it more at a different point. But right now we're going to start with X-Men Apocalypse, and then we'll do Deadpool. Okay. So we'll do X-Men, then we'll take a break, then do Deadpool.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to start with the trailer, Connor?
Yeah. All right. So the quality of the trailer is, well, bad because it's on like it's
somebody filmed it on their cell phone.
Yeah. Wait, how did it start off again? I'm trying to.
It started off with Jean Grey having like a basically like a nightmare premonition.
Yeah.
About the end of the world, and then Xavier's like, "No, it's just a dream. Don't worry. Go back to sleep."
Which, all right. First off, obviously Professor Xavier has to know that something's up. He's Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed about the trailer too, which they didn't really give you a lot plot wise, but you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what though? I'm not surprised they didn't give you a lot plot wise because Suicide Squad didn't do that either. Because if you think about it, X-Men doesn't come out till next summer either, I think.
Yeah.
Still ways away.
No, 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense for them not to do that right away. I mean, you kind of get a glimpse of it throughout the trailer. Like, Apocalypse is, mutants are being hunted, and then Apocalypse, probably the most powerful mutant ever. They find, X-Men learn about him, and then he starts causing havoc. That's basically the plot we know right now. You don't know all the intricacies of it.
Yeah,
but that's basically what you can gather from the trailer.
Now, yeah, that's what we got, and there really wasn't much. Like, that's the thing. Like with the X-Men trailers, there's the least. It's really the least to talk about of the leaked trailers because we already know so much about the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
The only thing you really talk about is it's younger characters, it's younger this. But there's one thing I noticed about Apocalypse, and I don't know if you noticed this too, but dude, he reminds me of Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie.
See,
in so many ways.
I didn't think
ways.
of that until you mentioned. I didn't see the connection, and then once you mentioned that the other day, and I looked back at it, I was like, "Holy shit! Yeah, dude, he looks like really, really like him.
He looks just like Ivan Ooze. Like, I'm telling you right now, whoever's listening to this." The one person that's listening to this, nah, we have friends. Just Google image. Pat's doing it right now. Google image, Ivan Ooze, HD image, and then image Apocalypse 2016 movie or whatever, and just compare the images.
They do look alike.
I swear.
But I didn't think of that until you pointed it out.
I would love if I saw this movie and in the middle of the
White
movie,
Ranger shows up.
Well, that would be sweet. Actually, that's a lot sicker than I'm going to say. But what I was going to say was, remember that part in the Power Rangers movie when they're getting that ooze stuff and Ivan Ooze has control of the town. He makes the guy do the dance, the lawnmower or whatever. Like, imagine if he made his power because he's so powerful. He made the X-Men do that, recreate that scene.
Well, you know what? He very well could be because he's. In the trailer, you can tell that he's able to.
He makes his 4 horsemen.
He's able to manipulate even Magneto.
Yeah.
Whether he has him under full control or is just manipulating him into his power, you can tell he could probably make everybody do that dance. He can make Charles Xavier walk and do that dance.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, it's like it almost takes away and that's honestly kind of unfortunate. In a way, as funny as it is, at least to me, someone would be listening to me this is not funny at all, and they're probably right. But for me, it's hysterical. But now, I don't think I can take this movie very seriously because it's dude, it's really funny how much it looks like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie. Yeah. It's honestly, for me, it's so close. So I'm gonna be watching this movie, and you can give the best performance of your life, and I'm like, wow, that's incredible. When does the Red Ranger show?
Well, it's only the first. It's barely a trailer. It's not that long. They could change his look throughout like the rest of it, in post and everything. It's like
it could be Apocalypse
notice,
doesn't stay in one like he will. There's a lot of comics he looks vastly different.
Well, if you think about it, at the end of Days of Future Past, he was like a glowing blue.
Yeah,
and sometimes between the initial teaser and initial trailers compared to the final trailers and the movie, like the effects look different. The color scheme might be different. Like in the new Fantastic Four movie, between the second trailer and the final trailer, the whole color scheme changed in that one scene when they get to that new dimension, and the whole color palette changed. That could be possible.
That's right.
And then with the first Guardians of the Galaxy trailer compared to the final one, a lot of the effects were changed and a lot of the look changed.
Yeah, in fact, it's funny because in the Guardians of the Galaxy, when the first trailer released, when they're all like in prison getting lined up naming, Drax is in there. And then in the movie, he's not in that scene. He comes later on.
Right.
So like you're right.
It's not even it's not just additions here and there, but like the look of Star-Lord, his mask, his phaser, some of the colors of the ships were different.
Yeah.
So it's something that could change. Maybe Bryan Singer will hear you saying he looks like Ivan Ooze and be like, "Fuck, all right, now we gotta change this."
Because he'll Google image it and he'll be like, "Wow." Like it's so
I'm Connor Hessnan.
It's like it's funny. Like when I watched that trailer, I was like, "What?" It's like it's the first thing I noticed. It's because I loved Power Rangers as a kid, so like that's just what it is with me. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I want an awesome Power Rangers movie.
Well, apparently a gritty one's gonna be made. Who knows if that's actually gonna happen? But in the meantime, you could watch. Did you see that Power Rangers short film?
That was awesome.
Okay, and Power Rangers is on Netflix, I'm pretty sure.
It is, but like...
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just I want a new Power Rangers movie with the old cast, or at least some of the old cast.
The ones
and
that aren't
I want the giant monster fights. I want the old like Japanese feel with the bad American acting, like...
3 shows spliced into one, or 4 shows spliced into one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so back to X-Men Apocalypse. When we first
we have a tendency go off track. It's all right. I think people like that. I don't know.
When we first see Apocalypse, he already has the celestial armor, which like enhances his powers like crazy amount, and that was given to him by the celestial gods. Because if you notice, like at the end of Days of Future Past, that like post-credit scene, he's basically just wearing robes.
Yes,
and he's much thinner, like scrawny looking compared to how he looks in this. I mean that, and he's thousands of years older, but you can tell that he's already in full control of his powers and mastering like the celestial armor, and he's building his 4 horsemen. One of them I think is Storm. I'm not sure if I saw a confirmation of that, but I think she can be, and I think it makes sense for her to be.
Yeah, and she's never in the comics, I'm pretty sure to my knowledge, she never was.
No, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
She wasn't, but they had to include her because of how popular of a character she is, and she is a great character no matter what. So like in this, she's gonna be one of the 4 horsemen more likely than not. And it makes sense because the 4 horsemen basically represent, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Apocalypse 4 horsemen. They basically represent different forms of destruction. If you think about it, Storm could basically wipe out like the human population, human life, and everything.
Like when it comes to level of power. Like I loaned you this comic. It's sweet. It's called Contest of Champions 2. I mean, story wise, it kind of sucks, but action wise, it's great.
Yeah.
Storm battles off against Thor, and Thor kind of doesn't have a problem because it's Thor and he's that powerful. I mean, in JLA versus Avengers, Thor like pretty much can keep up with Superman, but Superman obviously wins. Spoilers. It's not like people would be pissed at that.
Yeah.
Storm, but that's it. Like it takes like a Thor to beat Storm. So Storm can conjure up storms.
So you can conjure up storms, floods, tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes, lightning.
Yeah,
So I think
that's like one of those things. Like, okay, it's not in the comics, but it's a really cool idea for her to be a horseman.
It is. I think it's a great idea for her to be a horseman. I don't know who the rest of the 4 horsemen will be. I don't think they really have hinted to it. I don't remember seeing anybody like that in the trailer.
No, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, have they even finished filming?
I'm not sure, to be honest. They might have. I haven't really kept too much up with it. But yeah. So Storm's gonna be. I don't know if a Psylocke has been seen on his side in the trailer. It looks like.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's like for the same reason that Magneto ends up on his side, like he's manipulating her or whatever.
Olivia Munn's playing Psylocke.
She is.
Yeah.
And I get it.
She kind of looks like she's the part.
Yeah, she looks the part, but I've always considered her more of a model than an actress.
Well,
but
supposedly, like on set, like from what you hear, is like she was great. She was in that show, The Newsroom.
Yeah, I mean,
she was in Magic Mike.
I
never seen it, but
yeah, right. Jerk off to that every night. No,
probably, dude. Channing Tatum.
But no, that's just my opinion. I've seen her in other things, but only in like small bit parts. But I'm not saying she's going to be.
She was in that show New Girl for a while or something like that.
This
is the thing. Like, I feel like I can't judge her because I didn't really see her in a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a lot. So, I feel like
she's very good looking.
More often than not, when like I see her or like news about her, it's usually like pictures of her modeling or something like that, or of her, dating Aaron Rodgers,
which is the best thing. I would date Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even gay, but like, dude, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
that guy played such amazing playoff games on an injured foot. Do you see how we throw the ball?
Yeah,
he'd throw it without any feet planted. We have to have a football podcast. In the works.
That'll be one of our other podcasts.
Yeah, that's in the works for people who don't like comics.
But apparently she prepared really well for the role. She did like extensive sword training. So I'm not gonna.
Hey, if she worked really hard
on her,
yeah. From what you hear, it's like, oh, I did this, I did that, I prepared for this. It's like, all right, well, obviously this person's like caring a lot. She wants to do really well.
Yeah, like I won't know how.
I want her to do
until
well.
I see it. Yeah. Oh, I want everyone in the movie to do well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we don't know, like, if she just, willingly follows Apocalypse, or if she gets manipulated into following him like Magneto. But we see her on his side, at least in the trailer for a bit. And like, I think one of the most important things was just the fact that Apocalypse might be controlling Magneto is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that is. And I feel like that and that's a good idea too. I'm pretty sure Magneto was never one of the Horsemen in the comics. But then it's like X-Men never followed the comics.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean,
ever, like barely ever did. So it's another person. It's like, oh, like that would be really cool, because not only is there a dynamic with Storm, but what was I saying before? There was some sort of analogy, but whatever. Because Charles Xavier and Magneto are friends. But they're also sworn enemies too.
Yeah.
So that just gives more drama to a relationship that's already interesting to watch.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it could be that Magneto's following him to support the mutant cause, because in one part of I
mean, if mutants are being hunting
they mentioned that in the trailer. I don't remember what the character's name is, but Rose Byrne, the actress, she was in Days of Future. I mean,
she was in first class. Yeah,
she worked for the government, which I guess Xavier either just reconnected with her or restored her memory or something.
Well, no, she at the end she remembered Professor Xavier to a point, kind of.
Barely. Yeah.
She was like, there was just a kiss. And I remember, like, there was some sort of resonance there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she mentions that mutants are being hunted left and right.
I hated that part in first class. The whole kiss and forget. It's like so
that was kind of lame.
It was like lame. It's like, I don't know. Like, dude, we have like women superheroes that can kick ass and stuff like that. It's like, it's so. I hate to sound like a screaming like feminine. Like it was just stupid.
It was stupid. It was.
She's like because it's not. It doesn't fit her character. She took charge at the beginning of the movie. Like she's like, I'm gonna go in there and find everything out. Like I don't know. I hated that part.
It was a stupid moment. But yeah, I get Xavier reconnects with her in some form in this, and she gets back into the fold. It's good. I liked her character overall for the most part. First Class, and she's good. Rose Byrne's a really good actress, so it's gonna be good. And
she's good in everything.
She is,
and she's in so many movies.
She is, and she's got range because she played that. She was that crazy chick in Bridesmaids. She was hysterical in Neighbors.
Isn't she Australian or something? Or
yes, Australian.
She is Australian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, you know why I know that? Because she was recently on W2F Pod with Mark Maron. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a great podcast.
It really is.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like President Obama, you should check out the President Obama episode because it's actually a really good episode.
Yeah,
it's really good talk.
I'm not a fan of Obama that much, but it's like, I mean, he's still a guy, and it's like it's just nice to get some sort of human. Yeah, it was a great podcast.
Yeah, we're that's way too off topic.
Yeah,
that's a great podcast. But yeah, she's a very good actress. She's in a lot of stuff. She's gonna be in way more stuff that's coming up. But yeah, it's good. I'm glad that she's gonna be more involved in some way.
Yeah, it's I was glad to see her. Like, oh, she's back. Cool.
Yeah. Obviously we'll find out more of the conditions of her being back or whatever. And
they just won't explain it at all.
Could be.
It's an X-Men movie.
Could be.
Like there could be zero explanation. Like how Patrick Stewart walked in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but then lost the ability to walk in First Class. And then in never explained.
Past, he starts off walking again.
Yeah, well, that was explained.
It was kind of stupid, but yeah,
it was stupid. But it's the X-Men verse.
Yeah,
there's gonna be things that don't make sense, and it might be one of them. So I'm not getting my hopes up for that.
That's fine. Speaking of Xavier, we finally see a bald Xavier.
Yeah, and
at
then
the end of the trailer,
James McAvoy was on Conan with the X-Men cast. Did you see that?
Yeah,
it was really cool, and he was still like kind of bald. Like, and you know what I realized too? It was really cool how James McAvoy is Scottish. Now it's Michael Fassbender's Irish. Rose Byrne is Australian. You have Nicholas Hoult, who's English, and then like Olivia Munn, who's American. Like you just have like all like literally, it's just awesome to see like all these actors from just different parts of the world like act. Like it was like I don't know. I was kind of blown away by it.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a nice mix. I mean, they're all white, but
yeah,
just kidding.
No, Storm wasn't there, so it's like we leaving out.
Yeah,
but it was kind of cool to see. I was like, oh wow, like
yeah.
It's not like because usually with movies, it's like it's always either like an English or American actor, especially with American-made movies.
Yeah.
Or like you'll find some Canadian actors too, but like it was like, damn, dude, from every part of like Europe and like America, like they were just someone there.
Some of the minor characters, I'm sure, will be there are some X-Men throughout from.
It was just cool to see. I just wanted to bring that out.
Like there's been a wide variety.
Hugh Jackman's Australian.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Hugh Jacked, man.
Oh my gosh, dude, he can crack my head open just by like snapping his fingers.
Side note: he's not gonna have a big role in this.
I didn't even see him in the trailer.
Yeah, I think he might have a brief cameo, but he announced recently that the next Wolverine movie will be his last. And at Comic-Con, he goes, "I have 3 words: Old Man Logan."
There we go. See, that's how you go out,
right?
And you know what? Good. He's going away before it's like, all right, like, can we please get a new Wolverine?
Yeah.
It's because it's kind of getting there.
Yeah. For those of you unfamiliar with that story, it is one of Wolverine's best stories.
Yeah.
It is like just fantastic, and you should definitely check it out. And I'm excited. if that is really what the movie's going to be based on, because I would really like to see a good Wolverine solo movie, not the last two shit ones that came out.
Oh, see, I didn't think the last one that was that bad. Just the ending was bad. I thought the movie itself was pretty good, and then the ending literally almost killed the movie for me.
Okay. Well, we can agree that X-Men Origins was
That was
terrible.
a piece of crap. Ryan Reynolds was the best part of that movie.
Yeah, and then they sewed his mouth shut.
Yeah, and you know, actually, was really cool too was Liev Schreiber, whatever.
Oh yeah,
he was good in that movie. I was like, he's
a good actor.
Yeah, he's good. That's when I'm like watching that movie. I'm like, I really feel bad that this guy's in this movie right now. Actually,
yeah. So yeah, don't expect too much Wolverine in this movie.
For good reason. I mean, I'm glad I'm seeing X-Men movies that aren't Wolverine.
I know,
because literally, let's face it, that Wolverine's movie started when X-Men came out.
Exactly. Nobody would have given a shit if Hugh Jackman wasn't awesome.
Yeah.
And then so we see young versions of Cyclops, Storm, obviously, Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler. I'm sure there's a little bit more in there, but those are the ones that I immediately noticed. It's cool. It's different. You know, it's good to see them younger. And I forget who's playing Cyclops, Storm, and Nightcrawler, but Sophie Turner from Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones is going to be playing Jean Grey.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is pretty good casting. She's a good actress.
Yeah, and she looks the part.
Yeah, she looks the part, which is good.
And she looks like a younger version of like the Jean Grey from the movie verse.
Yeah, which is good. Mm-hmm. So that's a good choice. One question I have for you, and it's one question that
for me or the listeners.
For you.
I feel pretty special.
And it's something that I've been wondering lately, and I can't find an answer to it.
Pat, it's okay. If you can come out to me, man. It's cool.
Okay. Well, yeah. I was gonna think of something that
I just told her you're like, oh, okay.
That some Tumblr crazy person would say, but I can't think of anything. Given the events of Days of Future Past and the mix of timelines in that, how do you think this fits into the timeline established by that?
Well, okay, it's definitely follows the First Class timeline, no doubt about that. See, the timelines in Days of Future Past were mixed together. I don't think if they make any more X-Men movies that they're going to follow, especially with Hugh Jackman going, and I feel like the actors it's going to be hard for them to come back.
Yeah.
So I think it follows the First Class timeline still, it's a direct sequel to Days of Future Past from the timeline of where James McAvoy and Nicholas Hoult are in it, and I don't think they're gonna really do except with after the last Wolverine movie. I don't think they're really gonna go back to that universe anymore. I think they're just gonna do more sequels to X-Men, the First Class verse.
I know Bryan Singer isn't doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I think this is his final one. They haven't really laid out any plans for it. I mean, they could start using different X-Men members because there's a fuck ton.
Yeah.
A lot of mutants they could use. But, so do you think, I know this movie's supposed to take place in the 80s. Days of Future Past was, the 70s?
Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s or something like that.
They always jump 10 years. So if there is a sequel, do you think they would jump to the 90s?
Well, no, this one is going to be the 80s. Oh, you mean for a future one? Yeah. Who knows?
Which would be awesome because the 90s was the best time for X-Men in my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe they could adapt X-Men, that animated series.
Oh, wow.
Which is brilliant.
Dude, that's a show they need to bring to Netflix.
Yes. It's really disappointing that it's not up there. But
yeah, they have they have an X-Men show, but it's Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah.
It's I never watched it. I'm not gonna say anything about it. But supposedly it's good. I just never seen it.
It doesn't compare to that other one.
No.
Yeah. So, but do you think this is going to be the timeline at the beginning of Days of Future Past, right when Wolverine went back, or you think it's going to be the changed timeline after the events occurred, at the same timeline, the original timeline from Days of Future Past, First Class. Days of Future Past ended up changing.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the changed one.
You think it's gonna be the changed
I think
one? Okay.
I definitely think that.
Okay. Because they haven't really, said it, and I've been wondering that. So I wonder how much they're gonna acknowledge that or if they even address it.
I don't think they really should. It's a different movie. It's a sequel, but it's like they don't. Sometimes that's the one thing about, especially with comic movies. It's like kind of hard to find that middle. It's like, how do we explain one thing because we need to explain it, but how do we know what should be explained or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's certain things you just really don't need to explain.
If they, there's the chance that if they do try and explain it, that it would cause like massive plot holes between the two movies or in the next movie.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes it's just like there's some things like, well, maybe we should just leave this to the imagination.
Yeah, could be. All right, so you have anything else to say about Apocalypse?
No, I feel like we kind of talked how much there is to talk about. I mean, I ranted about Ivan Ooze for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, again, this is another movie that's not coming out for a long time. Well, not really that long, but at least a year.
There's gonna be so much in the future to talk about.
And this was barely a trailer; it was more of a teaser that was leaked. So there's gonna be a ton to talk about. So obviously, the more stuff that comes out, we'll talk about it just like we will with Suicide Squad. But for now, we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna talk about Deadpool.
Yeah, get some popcorn and some chips and soda because you're in for some entertainment.
And some lotion and tissues,
The usual when you're listening to Awesome Sunday Show.
All right, be right back, guys. All right, guys, we're back. And now we're going to talk about something that I've been waiting for to talk about. And of the 3 topics of this specific episode,
I sense you're a little more excited than I am.
I'm very excited for this.
I'm glad to hear that.
And this is going to be about Deadpool, which, I've been... First of all, the leaked trailer was phenomenal.
Yeah, 100%. It was awesome.
Absolutely phenomenal. I wish I could have seen that in, full quality, and that the person who took the video was, not waving their phone all over the place, keep it steady. But regardless, it was still awesome.
I never understood, before we go on, how come when leaked trailers from cell phones always leak, it's like someone's like wrestling them while they're trying to take a video.
I don't know.
It's like, and it's not like they move their phone to a point where like no one can see it because you can still see the screen.
Yeah.
So just keep your hand still.
That's it. Don't be like...
Or find an angle so where I'm like not like gonna throw up afterwards.
Yeah, it was like they were like...
Leak it right if you're gonna leak it.
It was like they were like swaying side to side and then going up and down a little bit, like they were on a roller coaster or something. That's basically what the video looked like.
Yeah, it did. But all right, sorry, we just paused. My door creaked and it really creeped us out.
There's a ghost in Connor's house, or a rapist. I don't know.
I really hope it's the latter because a ghost never leaves.
Could be a ghost rapist.
Wow. Dude, you just blew my mind. That's the scariest thing I ever heard in my life.
Exactly. So either way, the trailer was awesome. 100%.
Yeah, it was probably it wasn't as good as the Batman vs Superman trailer because that was just so epic. But the 3 trailers we've talked about so far, or the 2 we talked about before this, I can safely say we both agree that this is the best
hands
one.
Down.
Yeah,
hands down. And you know what? I'm thrilled about it. I'm so excited for this movie because they ruined Deadpool in X-Men Origins, but then that test footage that they made that was great. It was fantastic. Yeah. It looked awesome, and that was all computer generated. That was like rendered. Mm-hmm. And then that's because of the huge overwhelming awesome response to that. That's why this movie is getting made.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds and the director, whose name is escaping me, straight up said if it wasn't for that test footage being leaked, again, quote unquote leaked,
right?
That this movie probably wouldn't be happening. And you know what? Thank God that did, because this is going to be awesome. This is the role Ryan Reynolds was meant for.
Yeah, it's exactly. I feel bad because I think Ryan Reynolds is a good actor.
He is.
He just has so many bad movies, and it's like, oh god, he's such a likable guy. It's like, you know what?
It's some of his movies though had like potential to be great, and then shit went wrong. Like the Green Lantern movie, which while he made a great Hal Jordan and that movie blew, I am glad that movie blew so bad that he's coming back to Deadpool.
Yeah.
I think we're all benefiting from that. And I think another benefit of that is he's so excited for this movie that it's just going to make his performance that much better.
Yeah, I
agree. If you think about it, like when you think of...
his excitement's going to resonate on screen.
Oh, yeah. And like when you think about it, like, when characters are first announced for movies, like specifically comic book characters, or even when I'm reading them, like, and they haven't been cast yet in movies, I was like I try to think, so-and-so would be great in this. So-and-so would be great in this. Ryan Reynolds is the best choice for Deadpool.
Oh, yeah. There's no... I'm sure there's other actors that would do great, but Ryan Reynolds is like, it's like Tony. It's like
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. being Tony Stark. It's like, all right, like that's perfect.
He has the exact personality and skill to be Deadpool. And going back to the Green Lantern, in the trailer, he throws serious shade and disses the Green Lantern movie he was in.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it's because
funny.
Yeah, I was dying, and like, I'm pretty sure this is canon with the X-Men movie verse.
Because
Colossus is in it.
He is,
and it's Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool again. So I read something online that because of Days of Futures Past, that the timeline changed in the future.
So it could be. It just, you don't know where in the timeline, like how. If it's like...
But that doesn't matter. I don't really care. I at this point, it's like, give me...
I think...
It's like, I want to feel like a Scientologist in this. Like, give me as little explanation as possible so I believe it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to take place with that, and Colossus in it. It's a different actor playing Colossus, but...
That's fine.
Whatever. So, in case you didn't see the trailer, what... Deadpool says, he goes, right before he goes in for the Weapon X treatment, he goes, "Promise you'll do right by me," which is what every comic book fan says when their favorite hero gets turned into one. And then he goes, "Don't make my suit green, and definitely don't make it animated."
Yeah.
Which, if you saw the Green Lantern movie, you would understand.
But don't God, it's like, oh, it's a reference to a bad movie. Watch the bad movie. Like, it's so hard to like.
Yeah, but it was so funny, and like that's such a meta comment, which fits Deadpool because he often gets meta and breaks the fourth wall
all the time.
And
he does that in the trailer.
He does do that in the trailer, yeah, and it works. It's not just like being forced; it works. So yeah, we see him. Marina Baccarin, I think is her name. She plays his wife, Vanessa, who's also known as Copycat. And fun fact about her, she also voices Gideon on The Flash, which if you watch The Flash, that's Wells, a.k.a. Barthon's futuristic computer. I mean, not that that's a huge thing, but...
It's a fun fact.
Yeah, it's just...
Why not? Why wouldn't you want to know things?
Yeah, exactly. The more you know.
Exactly.
Show the
Rainbow
Star. Yeah. Yeah, so we see a lot of pretty good characters. Like, the confirmed characters we know right now are obviously Deadpool, Vanessa, a.k.a. Copycat, Ajax is going to be in it, Angel Dust, Negasonic Teenage Wasteland, Colossus, and Blind Al. And
Negasonic Teenage... What the fuck?
Yeah, that was so funny. He goes, "What the shit?"
Oh, yeah.
That is a fucking awesome name. That was funny. And then when he sees Colossus, he goes, "You're a big chrome cock gobbler." Like, it's just, and you know what? I'm so glad that this movie is going to end up being rated R. Because when it was first announced, they were trying to make it PG-13, and it would have taken away from some of it.
Yeah, no, it would have been corny because that is Deadpool. It's like, I try like there's some movies there, and like I'm gonna be honest, like there's some movies I see that are rated R. I'm like, that really could have been PG-13.
Yeah,
and like There's no reason to make it R. Like it just for the reason being, it's like it just restricts people from seeing it that maybe would benefit from seeing it, from watching an enjoyable movie. For Deadpool, you need that to be R. That needs to be a hard R.
Needed to. And it really would have affected the script had it been PG-13.
Remember that comic I mentioned before, Contest of Champions, that I have?
Yeah.
I think, or it's Contest of Champions too. I forget what it is. Like I said, the story sucks, but the action's great. The best part of that comic, I have to lend it to you. Deadpool fights the Hulk, and it's just so it's literally like just like 2 panels.
Yeah.
But it's so funny.
One of my favorite Deadpool moments from the comics is,
there's so many good moments.
There is, but one that springs to mind, I forget what the context was, but Deadpool's in Hell's Kitchen and Daredevil's getting him some shit. So then he goes to Daredevil. He goes, how far is the closest hospital? And Daredevil's like, oh, it's like 5 blocks that way or whatever. So then in order to get away from Daredevil, Deadpool shoots a civilian in the leg. Goes, well, guess you better get running. It's only 5 blocks away from what I hear. But it's always just like shit like that. And then X-Men kills the Marvel Universe. Like there's just so many good Deadpool moments.
You know what? It's another man. Like if you don't know, like if you're like I don't really know much about Deadpool, like, but I don't really like comics, or I don't want to read the comics. I'm gonna tell you right now. Deadpool in a nutshell, if you just buy Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the video game, it's a great video game. You should play it. But like he makes so many references to video games. It's great.
Or, I mean it's an okay game. Get the Deadpool game. It's for like PS3 and Xbox 360.
I'm sure you can find it for like $5 used.
Probably.
GameStop.
And you know what? Like the gameplay is not fantastic, but the voice cast is great. Like Nolan North voices Deadpool. It's very meta. There's a lot of references, and then it's just really, really funny. Regardless of the gameplay, that is fun.
The funniest line Deadpool has in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is, do you ever the X-Men arcade beat 'em up game?
Have it on my phone.
Oh yeah, so you know like the whole X-Men Welcome to Die.
Yeah.
The bad translation. Like Deadpool makes fun of Magneto every time saying that. Like it's just great. That's why I'm so glad there's a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I'm glad too, and
And I feel like there's not. You know what it is? It's like there's such a warm reception to this trailer because there's not as much pressure on it. There's not as much pressure on this movie. Like
right.
Green Lantern, there's so much pressure that had to be good for the DC universe. There's a lot of pressure on the Suicide Squad trailer if you really think about it, because if Suicide Squad, not to go back, this is only just going back, and it's gonna be back. This goes back to Deadpool. There's a lot of pressure on the Suicide Squad trailer because, like, that kind of explains why. Because we're at a point in comic book movies where the villain doesn't have to die every time.
Right.
So Suicide Squad makes sense because it gives an explanation, just like in the comics, how these supervillains keep on getting free.
Yeah.
So but now going back to Deadpool, like Deadpool it's not an important movie at all. So like there's really no pressure, and I feel like that just like kind of like that just set the movie free, like let it be its own thing, and I think that's why it's going to come out probably much better and so far from what we see than X-Men and Suicide Squad.
Oh, definitely. It'll definitely be a more enjoyable movie. You know what? It's going to be a fun movie.
Yeah, and that's all
exactly
I want. And that was Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you know what? That was just a fun movie. Like it didn't have to change my life. You know, it wasn't like not every movie I watch has to be Last of the Mohicans where I'm like, I feel so sorry for these Indians. Like, you know, like it's just I'm just glad. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I got to smile.
Yeah, and I think it's really going to benefit from that. And even the action in the trailer is really good. There's one small scene that's just basically like a reshoot to make it live action of some of the test footage, but altered a little bit and still pretty funny. Like when that truck flips over, and then Deadpool throws his arms over. He goes, "Wait," and then I forget what else he says, but he says something really funny, and then he goes, "Oh, you want to know why the suit's red? So bad guys don't see me bleed." And then he looks at one of the thugs and he goes, "That guy brought the right idea. He wore brown pants." And then boom, shoots himself.
Yeah, it was great. I know. Yeah, I remember
There's
exactly what you
just
talk about.
there's just so many good one-liners.
Who's the guy from Silicon Valley in that movie?
T.J. Miller.
Yes.
He plays Weasel, who's like another like not really sidekick, but a good friend of Deadpool's. And I think like you see a couple of like clips of them just like going back and forth with one-liners, and I think that was one of my favorite parts of the trailer, and I think that's gonna be so good because they're both funny. It can just keep going back and forth, feeding on each other.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one thing? You look like an avocado got skin cancer or something?
It's like you look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado.
Oh, right.
And he goes, and Ryan Reynolds just goes, "Thank you." Like,
Yeah. And it's just like there's like 4 or 5 things that they say to describe his look, because in case you haven't or are not familiar with it, Deadpool has some really deformed skin. It looks like he got like serious
yeah.
measles or smallpox or something.
He's just a really ugly looking person.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be extremely funny, and I'm looking forward to that because TJ Miller is also funny, and he could just he has a lot of great one-liners in every movie he's in, and then especially in Silicon Valley, he's hysterical.
Is Silicon Valley like? Is there like a tight script, or is it like Curb Your Enthusiasm where they kind of?
No, it's. I think the way they shoot it is like they have the set script, and then they give like a few takes for the actors to improvise.
See, okay, that's good because he does. I haven't seen like much of that show, but from what I've seen, he is really
you should
funny.
watch it. It's a great show.
Yeah, a lot of people love it.
It's created by Mike Judge.
Really?
So it's good because
he's the man.
He is the man.
King of the Hill is still one of the greatest shows of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
And all right, so yeah, because I know that actor is known for that, so it's like he improvises in a show like that, and Mike Judge.
And if you haven't seen him in that, he was in She's Out of My League. He's been in like a bunch of things,
which is an underrated movie.
It is an underrated movie. And then if you saw that garbage Transformers movie, Age of Extinction, he's in that for a little bit.
I still have yet to watch that.
I seriously regret watching it.
It's on the flicks of net, right?
Yes, don't watch it. Do yourself a favor. Like, I waited.
But I like bad movies.
Yeah, but this one was just terrible. The most unbelievable part about it is that Mark Wahlberg was like a scientist and a genius in it.
It's kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger being a scientist and a genius in Batman.
That makes more sense than Mark Wahlberg being it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually like really smart in real life.
Exactly. And Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be a great dynamic. And another major character we see in the trailer is Blind Al. Who, are you familiar with Blind Al? By any chance?
I know
it's basically
the character, but I just don't.
It's this old woman that Deadpool at one point kidnaps and then keeps her at basically as his slave and like tortures the shit out of her, pranks her all the time.
Yeah.
Like he'll straight up torture the shit out of her and then laugh about it and then leave her locked up in the house. But also at times they have like a very loving relationship and stuff.
Yeah.
But they have and like she doesn't put up with the shit. Like she'll go back and forth with him, and then he'll just like do some cruel things to her, and then just start laughing. And it's funny, and I wonder if that's how the relationship's kind of gonna be in the movie.
It's definitely
without
going
the torture, or without severe torture. But
I think, well, I don't know, man. I don't think they're gonna hold back in this movie.
They have no reason not to. It's rated R.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like it's so. This movie has such a weird, and like I don't mean to do this say this on purpose, but it has such a weird origin story. Like Ryan Reynolds wanted this movie to be made from the get-go. Yeah. And it's just like what we said before, the test footage was reacted so positively. Like there's no like this movie never would have passed unless like people fought for it.
Exactly.
And people wanted it. So like I think it was just at the point where it's like, all right, like the studio was just like, all right, let's just make it, just let them do it. Like,
you know what? It's gonna make a lot of money.
I'm surprised it's not a Kickstarter project.
You know,
it's like because it's honestly like the way this movie's turning out. It's like I would think, especially from a studio like Fox, it's like because it's not because like movies like this that come out like that are like balls to the wall like this are always like New Line Cinema, creepy what's that one? I think it's Ghost House Pictures
Mm-hmm.
or Bad Robot or something like that.
Well,
Like,
it does have the feel of a Kickstarter movie that they can do what they want,
but
but
it's not a
the only
Kickstarter.
reason that it couldn't be a Kickstarter movie is because it's a superhero movie. It has to have like the budget's gonna at least $100 million.
Yeah,
It's
no,
the
that's
same,
right.
And Guillermo del Toro, this actually brings up like it's another interesting thing about like a movie being fought to be made for that. Like if they could make the money on Kickstarter, they would. Is Hellboy 3? Guillermo del Toro has been trying to make it for what did the last one come out 8 years ago.
Yeah,
He goes, yeah,
Hellboy 2 was so good.
it was. And it's really awesome. There's a chance now because he's going to be doing Pacific Rim 2, which I didn't see the first one, but he's leaving behind.
I loved it.
He's leaving behind Justice League Dark, which would have been awesome. So I hope he eventually comes back to that. And then,
See, he always leaves stuff I want him to be in.
but I think if
Or a
Pacific
part
Rim
of.
2 like does well enough that it could lead to him being able to do Hellboy. But he said the other day, like, if he can get it funded by Kickstarter, he would have made it years ago. But it needs to have like a budget like $120 million because
Yeah.
of it's a superhero movie and you need huge effects, like especially for certain scenes in this and like certain characters you need CGI.
So he
And you
walked
want good
away from
CGI.
Justice League Dark?
To do Pacific Rim 2 because
All
it's
right.
he with Justice League Dark, he got a script approved, but like the studio, it's kind of been in like development hell for a little bit. But the script apparently is great. It's just it's not likely to be made right now.
Yeah, I mean, also too, like, as much as I'd hate to admit it, like, a lot of superhero movies are studio controlled.
Yeah,
Like, it's a lot of director for hire projects, and like that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, I would still love to this day to see Edgar Wright's Ant-Man, but we never will.
I'd love to
It's
see that.
it's like because that's why like and no one says, oh, like so and so made this movie. Like, it's like, oh no, Marvel made this movie again.
Yeah.
The only like even with the Russo brothers, who made Captain America Civil War, or I'm sorry, they're making Captain America Civil War and made the Winter Soldier, and are doing the next two Avenger movies. Like, while yes, like like director talent is extremely important for a movie. I'm not gonna take it away from that, but it's like how much was like a Marvel feel, and then it was good because there was good directors behind it.
Yeah,
It's like I think that's another reason why like you get like Edgar Wright or like Joss Whedon or now from what you're saying to me, Guillermo del Toro walking away from these superhero projects. It's like, well, no, they want me to do this thing that's not what I had in mind.
It's it happens pretty often, and that's why like a lot of the Marvel universe has lost a lot of directors who signed on at first and then left projects. Like Jon Favreau. He was at one point he was offered the director chair for Avengers, and then like the one reason he didn't accept that and one reason he didn't want to do Iron Man 3 was because Marvel had too much of a hand in it that he couldn't. It had to be a certain way. It had to follow so many things, and then had to set up so many things that like it's more pressure, and it just adds to like the already pressure of this just being a huge movie that caused a lot of directors to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And like for Black Panther, the director of Selma, I don't remember her name, but she was approached for Black Panther, and she originally accepted it, and then she didn't like the amount of control or the little amount of freedom that Marvel was going to give her. Same thing has happened with the Thor movies and then Captain Marvel movies. Like, it happens.
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot, and especially, and it makes it more difficult in the shared universe movies.
Yeah, because and it's like and like who do you blame in that situation? Because it's like, well, if Marvel didn't have that much control, would these movies not be as awesome?
Yeah, that's true. And we'll probably see this a lot to happen in the the DC cinematic universe too.
Yeah, it's just
happen.
Inevitable.
And like if Deadpool didn't require a superhero movie sized budget, could have been funded by Kickstarter. Like, I know people would have just shelled out a ton of money for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never in my life funded a Kickstarter project ever, and like that, and like, and like, I've actually had conversations with people that were surprised by that, like when when the creator of Mega Man started that Kickstarter project for Mighty Number 9, like oh, you didn't fund that? Yeah, I actually have I had someone at my old job like said that, and I'm trying to think of what else was like. I can't remember, but like there's things that like I would have funded but I just never did. Like if Deadpool, because of hearing about the test footage, like how much like I would want a superhero movie like that just goes off the chains, I probably would have given money to that.
Yeah, like I mean people have been wanting a Deadpool movie for a long time, but the only reason it's getting made is because of that test footage.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how much like a huge fan base wants it. If the test footage isn't like if certain footage isn't well received or it's not demanded enough or they don't think they can make so much money from it, it won't be made.
Mm-hmm.
But Deadpool lucked out, and like there's been a couple of articles saying how Deadpool has changed the fate of superhero movies that have been struggling to get made.
You said you forgot the director's name for Deadpool. His name is Tim Miller.
I knew it was something Miller, yeah.
But this is the first movie he's ever directed.
I know. He's been a producer on a lot of things, but yeah, this is his
he's been a creative director for Thor: The Dark World and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. But it says he's an animator as well. So
yeah, I know. He made the test footage, so that could be why they're giving him.
I mean, hey, good for him. I mean, like he was nominated for Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film. I mean, I guess he has to have some talent,
Yeah, he has credentials, and again, like there's a movie that seemed like it wasn't going to be made, and then it lucked out, and now hopefully some other not just superhero movies, but like other just like standard movies that have been in development, how can have something to push them into being made, just like Deadpool ended up being made.
Right.
Yep. Still got a while away for Deadpool.
We got a while for a lot of this. Pat, you have the best backgrounds. I feel like on this show I just mentioned the backgrounds to your phone a lot. He has a background of Luigi as the Green Lantern.
I found that today and I had to change it. Yeah, I know it's solid.
Which is funny because Luigi doesn't really have a lot of willpower, so it'd be funny if he was a Green Lantern.
Right. That's true. And then, so while the Deadpool trailer leaked, Ryan Reynolds addressed why it hasn't been released yet. It's because they still want to do some touching up to some footage they have in the trailer, fine tune it and stuff. Like, not that they released like a shit trailer. It's just, they have a vision for what they want to do to it that until they achieve it, they don't want to release it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he said it, sometime over the next month or two, it'll come out, which would be good. I would like to see, high quality version of it.
1080p, 60 frames per second, YouTube trailer. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so that's about all we have for that. If you guys, have anything, you'd like to share with us, or you have any opinions based on what we talked about this podcast, the Batman v Superman podcast, or, any discussions we have coming up, let us know. I'm going to be doing there's going to be a Comic-Con podcast part 3 that I'm going to do, and it's going to be about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, and Flash, their new seasons. Connor's not up to date with those, so that's
I'm
why
a bitch.
Though it's not, but so that's why I'm going to be doing it, because if I were to include him on it, it would spoil a lot of things for, like, Arrow has 4. It's going to be its 4th season, so that's 3 season material that could be spoiled. Flash season 1 would be spoiled, and like the first 3.
It's not that he doesn't want me to do it with him. It's just I don't want to do it too, because I do eventually want to get to these shows. I'm just an idiot, and I just haven't watched it yet.
You just got you got to put the pressure on Connor. And
fire off in the comments of how dumb I am for not watching the show.
Listen.
And for every comment that I see is going to give me more of an incentive to actually start watching them.
Evan watched the entirety of Arrow
Shout out to Evan Bogner.
and Flash, and you haven't.
Okay, Evan also doesn't have a life.
He does, and now that he drives again. But regardless, you are, and I've been waiting for you to I've been waiting for him to watch these, so I have somebody to talk about this with.
I know Pat is like disappointed every time I say I haven't seen it yet, and he goes,
and
he gets another beer.
Yeah, he drives me to drink. But yeah, so I'm gonna look out for an episode on that. If anybody would like to join me in talking about that, probably not. Let me know.
Well, I maybe Evan.
No. Like we could talk about, I mean more.
Like how on the air, like no.
I mean,
screw him.
I mean, I would. I mean, like more in depth. Like some of the conversations we have about like the trailers and all that crap. Like
also, I mean,
like the backstories.
Yeah, I feel like Evan just hasn't really read the comics. He just likes the show because the show is amazing.
It is, and that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I want to get a little more in depth with it. So yeah, pressure Connor to do it, just like you're about to pressure him to have sex.
Start a Twitter trend #pressure Connor.
I'm gonna tie him up and torture him until he does watch it.
Sexually torture me.
So yeah, look
like
out.
Mel Gibson.
That'll be part 3 of our Comic-Con discussions. If you have any more topics you think we should discuss from Comic-Con, let me know. Right now, we don't have any more planned, but if enough people suggest something, we'll look into it and talk about it.
Next week I mean, we don't really know what we're doing for next week.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I mean, we did like a impressions and review of Ant-Man. Not gonna put that up yet, just because the movie just came out.
But also, yeah. Is this coming up? After Ant-Man? Are you gonna put this? Or?
No, I'm gonna put this up before Ant-Man. What I'm gonna do is release the Comic-Con ones all, one day after each other, just because of how recent it was and how important it is, instead of stretching it out.
All right. I'm just fair warning. We recorded the Ant-Man podcast at 3 a.m. because we went to like the 11 something showing.
Yeah. So we sound just like idiots. So it's like kind of like we're like.
I feel
in
like
and
I
out
say.
of
I
consciousness
feel like
during it.
I like stop in the middle of sentences. I'm like, no.
Yeah. So it may not be the best thing, but yeah, we still have one. I'll put that up on Sunday. Just give people some time to watch it.
Yeah.
I also have an Arkham Knight bonus review bonus episode. I'll probably put up at some point. That's again just solo because Connor hasn't played it, and I don't want to force him to talk about it if he hasn't played it and spoil anything.
Yeah, but also too, there are future things in the works.
Yeah, I mean we have a bunch of stuff planned, not just for stuff about this, but some other different projects that we're talking about doing. But as they come up, we'll let you guys know.
Because nothing's set in stone, but we know you love us a lot.
Yeah,
this is for you guys.
Everything we do is for you.
Like me and Pat, like we hate each other.
I can't stand.
I really would kill him, but we love you guys. So.
Exactly. And we plan on getting a third mic at some point soon. That way we can start having people on,
like our friends,
or people who just want to join in who aren't our friends. Yeah. Even though we'll be more.
Pat's best friend. Mazar,
that's your friend. You confirmed that you banged him before I came over your house.
No, that's not true. He has been to my house.
That's all I need to say.
But you've admitted.
But for our Ant-Man review, Cass Dalton was on it. I mean, we didn't have a third mic.
The beautiful Cass Dalton,
Castmaster Flex.
This is how tired we were during that podcast. We were like, all right, Connor, introduce Cass. Connor introduced Cass. Like, all right, we go on. I forget to introduce Cassidy, and then I try to make an excuse about giving him like this big intro, and I just forgot. And it was like the worst lie.
Yeah. So that's what's coming up for this week and for Sunday. We'll be having more. At some point, we'll get back into Daredevil. Unless you guys don't want us to, and then whatever. Then we won't do it. Whatever. You got to be like that. But, yeah, we've gone on for a long time.
I hope so, because it gives me an excuse to rewatch that show.
Well, how about we don't review it and you start watching The Flash, then we start reviewing that.
All right. But then how about we just start reviewing stuff? This is private talk, not on the show.
All right, yeah, we're going to stop talking right now. It's been long enough.
You're probably like, all right, why am I still listening?
Yeah. All right, sorry for the length of that. But yeah, at least some of it was constructive and talking about what we have coming up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, if you even do, and for sharing. Like, comment, share, subscribe, blah blah blah, all that. Help us out, because if you guys stop listening and you guys hate us, we're still gonna do it anyway. We just won't share.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we still thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Tell people how much you hate us, because they know.